Yankees, who is outside the East London Correctional Centre. Abongile, do confirm if you can hear us. A very good afternoon to you, and give us a sense of whether these precautions that we've been told to take with regards to preventing the spread of COVID-19 are also practiced within the confines of the Correctional Centre.
Good afternoon to Simpiwe. Well, we are here at the East London Correctional Centre, where Justice Minister Ronald Lamola just revealed that there are 26 people tested positive here for the COVID-19 virus. Well, 3 of them being inmates and the rest is officials here, from female officials here from the Correctional Centre. Well, he said that in the media briefing that they are doing by all means to provide the necessary care for them so that they can recover well in time in order for them to resume with their jobs. But to tell us more, I'm now joined by the Minister himself. Sir, thanks a lot for your time. Tell us, 26 people being confirmed here for COVID-19.
Yes, it is 26 and 3 inmates and 23 officials. And this is a reason because of the first case that we have recorded here, that you are aware of, which one of the officials had attended a funeral, and unfortunately she then tested positive. We then isolated as a presumptive measure all the officials that came into contact with her. It was about 200 and it was about 30 of them, and some have tested negative, and as we speak now it's 23 that has tested positive. What plans, briefly outline for the betterment, for the understanding of our viewers, what plans does the department have for these 26 officials and these inmates that have tested positive? We have identified quarantine sites for the inmates in the center and also for isolation, where we are also going to, as we speak now, all the inmates are being tested in that about 269 of them, and officials also from that section are also being tested, all of them, so that we are able to know the number and the clear figure. We are awaiting the results because it has been ongoing for some of them, and they are being taken care of by the Department of Health here in the province. They are in that quarantine or isolation. They are receiving the necessary medication that they need, including the inmates, and I've spoken to some of them. They are in good spirit, and they are adhering to the measures that have been put in place. In terms of infrastructure going inside these prison cells, are they, for isolation purposes, are they in good standards to maintain high hygiene to fight the scourge of this virus? Yeah, obviously it's single cells, which we will also have to be manned by one medical person who will be able from time to time to check and ensure that the cells are in line with the standards, the cleanliness that is being done, including the deep cleaning that has been done, as you are aware, during the week. It's adhering to those measures. For these 26 people, are there any in hospital as we speak now? Yeah, the first case, yes, but the others are still in self-isolation and in quarantine. They are not in hospital because it was fortunately identified early because of this early testing and isolation that has happened after there was this first positive test, which led to us calling that everyone who might have come into contact with them must be tested, whether with symptoms or not. And the department did agree because they were exposed to an individual, and also because this is a center where you have got a high concentration of people, so you will need to identify early. And I think that measure has really worked because it now gives us an indication of the numbers and what are we dealing with in the center. In terms of protective gear, for those who are not affected yet, how are you planning that it is curbed from them while they execute their essential services so that they don't get infected with this virus? Is there sufficient protective gear for employees? Yes, there is sufficient protective gear in this area of the Eastern Cape, including this center where we are in. And in the centers where those that have tested positive, there will be those surgical protective gear which are specifically for that particular area. And in the other centers, we will have to use the measures as guided by the Department of Health and the World Health Organization. There is enough and sufficient. But as you are aware, the issue of protective gear is a global challenge, and we are doing our best to continuously ensure that it is sufficient for the purpose of executing the duties here.
While we're still on the matter of protective gear, there's a Sunday Times article that is out today saying that there is a lack of protective gear at Sun City in Johannesburg. What can you say about that?
I think the article is unfortunate. The Sunday Times is aware that the protective gear is a global challenge. But with regard to the center in particular, we had said we were going to take the media to see what are the measures we are putting in place so that South Africans knows, including the relatives of the inmates, the conditions under which they are kept, for them to see. And it was not possible that you could have a surprise launch of that kind of a program. Hence, we invited the media to see and be transparent, including the issue of the video conferencing. There's no way you can stage a video conferencing with the courts around Johannesburg. It's not practical. It's not possible. So it is. There are measures that are there in Sun City, and there is protective gear that is used, including the soap for hand washing and sanitization, including the issues of deep cleaning. But obviously, from time to time, materials will run out. You will have shortages and so forth. But that is not the norm. The norm is to have it and to ensure that it is being utilized.
So, thank you very much for your time. And well, that was Justice and Correctional Services Minister briefly outlining to us what about the media briefing that he with us, the media here. Amongst the issues that he touched on is that there are 20,000 inmates here in the province who they say they are trying by all means that they do not get infected with this virus. From us here in East London, it's back to you in studio.
Abungile, thank you so much for your time. That was a reporter, Abungile Yankees. He just spoken to the Justice and Correctional Services Minister, Ronald Lamola, who confirmed that 26 staff members at the East London Correctional Centre have tested positive for COVID-19, and as well as 3 inmates within that correctional service facility. And he mentioned that isolation sites have already identified for those who have tested positive, and all the other inmates within that correctional centre, 269 of them have also been tested, and proper action will then be taken after those test results have come out. This is the agenda on SABC News. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll take a quick break.